Thank you, Russ. All right, so my story starts in 1995. So let's transport ourselves back 22 years. Don't go chasing. Suzanne likes TLC. I listened to TLC in 1995. I'm not embarrassed to admit it. So 1995, I'm 14 years old. So I'm from New York. I guess I should probably whisper that. I'm from New York. So I come to Vermont for the very first time. It's on a snowboarding trip to Stratton Mountain. And this was me that weekend. And I fell in love. I instantly knew that I was going to live in Vermont after spending one weekend here. It was love at first sight, which I didn't even have that with my wife. Like we were friends first. We did the whole friend thing, gained trust in each other, and then yeah. So fast forward another 4 years, I applied to Vermont schools. I had a picture of Stratton hanging up on my wall, the trail map all through high school. Dreamed about getting back there. I went to St. Mike's. That was a bit of a blur. That'll be another presentation. I graduated in 2003 with a journalism degree. So I'm going to fly through my 20s here in about 5 seconds. You ready? So there was that. That was fun. Did a lot of that. That was a good night. That happened. Did some work, some of that. Had a kid. All right, so now I'm 29 years old, and I start Mondo Mediaworks, digital marketing agency in Brattleboro. Didn't go to business school. No clue what I'm doing, but I'm gonna do this. And I decided very early on that Mondo's values were gonna be in giving back. That was it. So we did some things, like we launched this community crowdfunder, whereby we did a bunch of pro bono work for the Brattleboro Film Festival, got their crowdfunding platform up and running. And we were doing things like, giving $500 to the Brattleboro School of Dance here and supporting the fireworks program, the July 4th there. But it was just a general, broad, I'm going to donate some money and we're going to do some pro bono work here and there. It was never really purposeful, right? It didn't have this drive behind it. So that kind of went on for years. I mean, that was just how it worked. And all the while, Mondo was growing and growing and growing. And this is Mondo right now. We're 16 people. And I could tell you that it is a joy to go into work every day. And now there is a purpose. So how did that purpose come about? Well, an impactful thing happened a few years ago, and that was when I joined the SevEds board, which sounds like a breath mint or something, but it's the Southeastern Vermont Economic Development Strategy Board. So we are responsible for setting long-term strategy for making sure that the economy thrives in Windham County. So I joined that, and about 6 months in, I got a very important presentation from the Vermont Futures Project. So I'm really glad that Krista brought this up today, because when this presentation was put in front of my eyes, it was a light bulb moment for sure. So you guys saw this. Even if we are painting a rosy picture, our supply of people entering the workforce in Vermont is 8,000, but through people retiring out of the workforce and through business growth, there's going to be that gap of almost 11,000 people in the workforce. That is not good. And that made me feel very worried for my beloved state. So that was a light bulb moment for me. That's an LED bulb, by the way, not incandescent. So that was a light bulb moment, and that was when I decided, I was searching for something to refine our values, right? And now I had it. This is my state. I can't let this happen to my state. So we refined our values at Mondo to reflect that. We shorthanded as Save Brattleboro, Grow Vermont, but we have a whole page of bullet points of how we're doing that. So I want to run down some of the stats that are in the Vermont Future Project. Innovation, 25% growth in the number of mid-sized businesses. This is something we can address directly at Mondo. This is our year-over-year growth since 2014, so growing steady year over year. We're not quite a mid-sized business yet, but we're getting there. So we're growing, creating new jobs at Mondo, good jobs for young creatives in the state. How about this one? Demographics, top 10 for U.S. median household income. We pay a livable wage, and we always have, but I want it to be a super competitive salary for my employees. So every year at this point, the salaries increase range from 8 to 15%. So it's not a cost of living raise. It's, these are substantial raises because we want to help achieve that goal as well. Let's go down over to this one over here, workforce and talent. That's that gap. We need, what's up, Russ? Oh, 5 minutes. I thought you were like, yeah, high five. So we need an additional 10,000 people, right? That is huge. Now, I am not suggesting that you guys go and do this. This is just something I did. I had a couple kids. I made a few Vermonters. Born in Vermont. They're going to be raised here in Vermont. Are there any single people in the room? Raise your hand, guys. Maybe connect. Now, how awesome would that be? Can I officiate the wedding if somebody please, if you guys met here? But seriously, I am raising my children to appreciate Vermont. This is us at the place where my love for Vermont first blossomed, is at Stratton. So I take my girls snowboarding, and it's the most joyous part of my entire week, every week for sure, when we all go snowboarding. So I'm trying to raise them as good Vermonters so that they don't feel like they need to leave, right? That's the brain drain thing that's happening. So I'm trying to do that. But I'll talk more seriously about the workforce thing in a moment. But how about all the rest of these? These are not things that Mondo can necessarily directly influence, right? It's the housing situation. It is growth in the grand list, gross state product. But I can do some things personally. So I am on the Newbrook School Board, which is the local school board. And they started a garden outside, and I thought that was the coolest thing. The problem was that they didn't have a sufficient kitchen to process this local food that they were growing. So I fought hard to get funding for that, to get it on the budget and to fight for that funding. We got the new kitchen put in last year, and it was almost instant. We got this guy as our executive chef at the school, and this guy was the executive chef at Farm Table, which is a farm-to-table restaurant down in Massachusetts. And he was so passionate about what we were doing, and he's got kids of his own, that he quit his job as the executive chef at the Farm Table to come be the cafeteria chef at Little Newbrook Elementary. And he's producing amazing food. He had this like pork loin with an apple cider vinegar like reduction. It was like, it's crazy. So you want to talk about people like deciding where they're going to live when they're like a young family, right? Like this kind of stuff matters. That's how we grow the grand list and make more Vermonters. And this is just 1.1% of our net profit donated in 2016, 2.6% projection so far in 2017. And this is, we're still supporting local groups. So it's not all about these big Vermont futures problems. We're still supporting the community in this way. All right, so back to this workforce and talent. This is where having a refined values statement and mission can be part of your work, right? So all this other stuff is kind of extracurricular in the sense that we're supporting these things. But now, about 1 year ago, I have an RFP, request for proposal, come across my desk, and it's from the Rutland Region Chamber of Commerce. And they are looking for a marketing campaign specifically to address population decline, which is a state problem. It's not Rutland, but Rutland's doing something about it. And I, just like when I knew I was going to be in Vermont someday, when I came here snowboarding, I was like, that's ours. That is going to be our marketing campaign. We can slay that. And there was a ton of competition. They got like a couple dozen proposals. Fast forward, Mondo's doing it. We just launched the campaign about a month ago. It's called Real Rutland. And this, I can tell you guys, is the most important work that we are doing right now, for sure. It is, we are specifically addressing the workforce gap that's happening in Vermont and that is happening in, specifically in Rutland. And we're doing it through creative work. So I'm going to show you guys one of the TV ads that you may be seeing. This is running all over Vermont for the next 3 months.
These folks are not actors.
Ah, it didn't go through.
They're real people. Creators. Real seekers. Foodies. And they all have one thing in common. They live in Rutland County, Vermont. Go ahead. Ask us anything about the place we call home at realrutland.com.
So I hope you guys could hear that. If you did not, you can go to realrutland.com and you can watch all the videos we made. We want people to see this and be intrigued, to be, oh, Rutland. And then we want them to go to realrutland.com where they can literally ask us anything. People are asking us all sorts of questions, everything from what are the best restaurants, how are the schools, to some serious stuff, like what is Rutland doing about the opioid problem? And we address that. We're real Rutland. We are addressing that honestly. We have ambassadors, real Rutlanders answering these questions. And then people can also tell us stories as well. So we want the people that live in Rutland County or that have spent time there to tell us the stories of what makes it so great. And these are the kinds of things that we are getting out of it. So in closing, this is about creating irresistible companies, right? I hope that every day what we are doing, I could tell you guys all about the other things we're doing at our company, makes it irresistible. But I'm going to be a bit selfish here for a moment and tell you guys that I've created an irresistible company for me. And as the CEO and the owner and the one who is steering this ship, the one who sets the vision, the one who sets the culture, I think you're allowed to be selfish as a leader and make a company that is irresistible to you. This was Halloween last week. I'm dressed as a unicorn shooting a rainbow out of my butt. It's a long story, but I promise you it makes sense. Everybody there gets it. It's from a piece of software we use, our project management software. And that's my daughter down there. I don't know, I feel comfortable coming into to work with a rainbow shooting out of my butt. So like, not only are we doing important work, but I can come to work like this and feel completely comfortable, and that's pretty rad. Thank you guys very much.